Caffeine has become a staple in everybody's morning routine. First thing people do when they wake up in the morning is reach for a coffee to wake themselves up. Coffee is great and it's tasty. We all love having a coffee, you know, when the sunrise is coming up early in the morning. It's just nice. And it does have many health benefits, which can increase your energy levels. It can even help your ability to focus, and I think there are studies showing that people that drink coffee actually tend to have higher testosterone levels. These are some of the benefits, but there are many negatives to caffeine, which could be anything from anxiety, shortness of breath, shakiness, sleep insomnia, restlessness, and many more. I was consuming a lot of coffee every day, sometimes even 3 cups of coffee a day. I was seeing many negative side effects from doing this. It was causing me to have anxiety, almost shortness of breath. I was having gut issues. I was struggling with sleeping at night. I just felt on really high alert. I could tell that my cortisol levels were really high. So I wanted to see what would happen if I could completely cut caffeine out of my life, stopped having my morning coffee, and see the effects it would have on me. Would I feel worse? Would I feel better? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I've learned from quitting caffeine over the last 3 months. First few weeks, I had massive withdrawals. Now, you are kind of addicted to caffeine. If you're having one every single day, if you cut cold turkey, you are going to see effects. You see effects with anything you cut out that you rely on day to day. So I experienced a lot of brain fog, a lot of fatigue, headache, extreme tiredness, massive cravings for coffee. What I was expecting, I wasn't expecting anything other than this, because when you're quitting something that's very addicting and something you've done every day, you are going to have benefits. So please be aware, you're going to feel bad. It's normal. Your body is simply detoxing and it's getting used to not relying on this toxin. But once I got through this grey period, then the benefits started to come. First benefit I noticed was that actually I had increased energy. Now, when you're drinking caffeine and you're tired, yes, it brings you up, but then you also crash down with it. So if you have a coffee early in the morning, you will actually notice an hour later, you'll feel a bit tired. Coffee is just triggering your fight or flight response. It's basically raising your cortisol, which then of course is going to raise your body's energy, so you feel really alert. This soon comes crashing down. And this is what I noticed, that my energy throughout the day stayed a lot more consistent, and I didn't have like any afternoon crashes. I didn't have these really low periods when you would be coming down from your coffee. It's almost like a come down. And I noticed that this completely went, yeah, it was actually brilliant. I had a lot more energy, which is different because I thought that coffee gives you a lot of energy and that's probably what helps you, but you actually find that once your body levels out in the morning, you kind of stay like this instead of going up and then down. Obviously it helped with my focus because I weren't having these big energy crashes and I weren't having to top up again, do more to then come down again. So my ability to focus was much better. This is because it also helped my mental health, because I'm not having these massive, huge benefits. And you will hear me talk about mental health and focus, and these two go hand in hand. When you are focused, you are feeling better. You're not feeling depressed or anxious. If you are depressed or anxious, you will notice that your focus is not there. You can't focus. So this is why these two go hand in hand. Yes, my productivity got way better because I wasn't having all these energy crashes. Third thing was not having to wake up, rely on coffee to get me going. For most people, if they're traveling, if they're out for work, they have to make sure they get their coffee, otherwise they can't function and they can't move forward in the day. I believe that if you are relying on something that strongly, that you need to cut out, because we should not be relying on external things to keep us going in the day, keep us happy. If you find you are needing coffee to get yourself through the day, then there is an internal issue that you need to deal with, and that could be anything from too high stress levels. That could be maybe you're using caffeine as a dopamine hit because you're not feeling good in your life. You know, we use it for comfort. You really need to address that issue, and this then led to less anxiety. I actually noticed that coffee became a bit of a crutch for me, something I would do when I felt low, relying on coffee to give me a bit of happiness. Anything that is producing you dopamine, you always come down from it. There are no highs without lows in life. Actually cutting out coffee, I felt very less anxious. When you drink coffee, you feel like you're pumped with cortisol. You have that shakiness, you have that jitteriness, and that's because your body is just in a state of fight or flight, and that is what causes people anxiety. I also found that I felt less dehydrated through the day. If you don't know, 80% of our body is made up of water. Water is so important. Water is arguably more important than food. If you are dehydrated, you can see all sorts of health issues. You will not function as a normal person if you're not drinking and getting enough liquids in. I found that drinking coffee made me really dehydrated. Actual studies to show that coffee does dehydrate you, does actually strip away some nutrients that you take in throughout the day. I would have dry lips. I would feel so much more thirsty after having coffee. The last one I found is that my dental health is a lot better, and for other words, my breath is a lot better. Now I think we can all agree that people that drink coffee have kind of horrible breath. It's got a horrible bitter smell that just stays with you all the time. Even when you brush your teeth, sometimes it stays there. It's just like a smell you can't get rid of. I noticed that actually drinking less coffee, my teeth felt better, they felt stronger, my breath was better. It actually came to the point where if I didn't brush my teeth in the morning, I actually would be fine. My breath would be absolutely fine. And that was really interesting. Those are actually the positives that I noticed from quitting caffeine. There are a few negatives I noticed from quitting coffee. And the first one is your hunger level. I think we all know that coffee is an appetite suppressant. It suppresses your appetite. This could either be a positive or negative for you. If you are trying to bulk, then coffee is going to make you left hungry. You're not going to be able to gain as much weight. If you're trying to lose weight, then coffee is a great tool because it gets rid of your hunger. This is what I noticed, is that I actually felt a lot more hungry because I wasn't having that morning coffee, which did lead to me eating a bit more, which did lead to a little bit of weight gain. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing to gain a bit of weight. Your body needs a bit more weight on you if you are very lean. I found this was quite negative. I was a lot more hungry, which led to me being worse at fasting, and it just wasn't as good as having a coffee. The second one is that it's really nice to have a coffee in the morning. It's nice to just sit outside, watch the sunrise, just enjoy a nice cup of coffee before the day starts. That does give you actually a sense of happiness and pleasure, which is quite sad when you remove that. That is what I found, is that I did miss it, and it did take away a bit of happiness, a bit of quiet bonding time in the morning. The last one I noticed was that coffee can be a social thing. We all go to coffee shops, maybe with our friends or our family. When you're not drinking coffee, you do kind of feel like you're missing out a bit. You're not as social with people. You know, you might not go to that cafe you usually would. It does take a bit of society norm out of it. So my overview of quitting caffeine for 3 months is that I think you should have periods of time to take steps away from caffeine so you're not relying on it, because the more and more you drink coffee, the more and more side effects you're going to get from it. So actually taking a step away actually gives your body a bit of a break, go back into having caffeine. I would say for me, it seems to be more of a negative, but for some people it can be positive. Don't rely on it so much. And if you notice any sort of negative symptom coming from coffee, just quit it out for a time. Give your body a bit of a break and then try and re-add it in. So this is what I've learned from quitting caffeine for 3 months. I hope this has helped. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.